What up, guys? Today I want to share with you one of my very favorite pieces of gear, something that I have used for the last 10 or so years and has been an outstanding piece of kit, and that is this Zebralight headlamp. I've owned many of these and given them as gifts to other people as well. And today I want to share with you why I believe this is a great piece of gear. I'll compare it to other headlamps on the market, and I'll give you some tips for using it. So let's get in. This is a simple aluminum bodied headlamp. It's powered with one 18650 lithium ion battery. If you didn't know, this is a common battery, like for example in rechargeable power tools. This is what's inside the battery packs, or like Tesla vehicles. Their batteries are built of a whole bunch of 18650 batteries put together. It is a very common and a great battery platform. I want to talk about the advantages of this light, particularly for when it comes to outdoor pursuits such as backpacking or skiing. I've also used this light like just as a doing things around town light, or as a mechanic. I've used this for many hours a day in and day out for like years on end. So I've definitely got some quality time with these. To compare this to the other lights that are commonly recommended for thru hiking, it's in a little bit of a different category. So most people will recommend like a really lightweight rechargeable headlamp, and those are great just for doing like little tasks with your hands. But they're basically like a step above the light on your smartphone, say. This is more for the use case of someone who's really relying on their light and like actually using it for route finding. For me, in the summer in Alaska, I don't even carry a headlamp, but in the winter, I'm relying heavily on a light when there's only limited hours of daylight. Oftentimes, you're leaving places and going places in the dark, and this is like actually becomes an essential item. So what you get with this light is, for a little bit more weight, you get incredible output and incredible runtime at that output. This would be like a light that is commonly used in caving, for example, something where you're genuinely relying on the headlamp. Now, to compare this to other headlamps in a similar form factor, so Zebralight kind of pioneered this simple 18650 headlamp form factor about a little over 10 years ago, and since then the market's become very well flooded with other options. A lot of them look just like this light and are ripoffs of the design. So what kind of sets this one apart? Why is it still good? Essentially, it's a simple, rugged design that uses quality components. I mean, that's generally what makes something good anyway. And to break that down a little bit further, this light has a really good user interface. And what that means with a headlamp is basically like, when I push the button, can I make the thing happen with the headlamp that I want to happen? In other words, I'm not just like lost in a bunch of weird modes. And this does a good job. It does have a little bit of a learning curve. There's only one button that's used to access like 6 different modes, but if you use the light regularly, it becomes second nature. Second thing why this is a quality light is the actual light itself. It's a high quality LED emitter. I mean, to like nerd out about it, it has a high CRI, it has a good color temperature, but what that actually means is like when I look at something with the headlamp with my eyeballs, does it look like when I look at something in the day? In other words, does it send the right signals to my brain? So using a quality emitter just makes things look more natural to our eyes. The electronics in this are very high quality, which makes it efficient. So the output is stable, like over the life of the battery, and you get a really long output. And lastly, this is an extremely reliable, rugged design. I drop these things on concrete regularly, and they're fine. I've also used this as a diving light in Hawaii, like in the ocean. So it's not only waterproof, but it's very submersible. And also, this is the lightest headlamp in this form factor, which does matter for those of us that are carrying our gear on our back. All right, so now you know what kind of sets this apart and why it's worth a few more dollars versus other headlamps out there. Some tips for using it. When I get these headlamps, they come with like a strap that goes over the top of your head right here. I immediately cut that strap off. I find that it's extra unnecessary. It just gets in the way. I run good batteries. I recommend the Panasonic or Sanyo 18650B. They look like this. I recommend against buying them on Amazon. There's many fakes out there which are lower quality cells, and then they just slap the Panasonic wrapper on there. So right here I have a fake one on the top and the real one on the bottom. As you can see, it can be pretty difficult to discern the difference. So don't buy them on Amazon. Buy them. The two reliable places I found to buy them are the LIION wholesale.com, Lion wholesale.com, or from Zebralight themselves. But yeah, I recommend getting those from a good place. The cheaper batteries are not reliable. They have like a third less of the capacity, and there's actually a little bit of risk in a low quality cell, like going into thermal runaway and melting down. And remember, we're carrying it right here on our head, so don't really want that. I recommend running good batteries. They'll just last longer and be better. And yeah. And I recommend carrying spare batteries. This headlamp doesn't have a recharge port on it. You have to recharge the batteries separately. I use a 2-battery power bank, something like this. So it acts both as a charger and as a power bank. I can use this to charge my phone or other electronics, and also my headlamp. So that's a really nice little system for me. There's a number of different little power banks on the market. I can do a video on those for you if there's interest in that. But yeah. So this is generally what I carry around, is the power bank and the headlamp. And having that ability to swap out the battery is another important feature. If your battery, or if your headlamp is locked onto a battery where you can't swap it out, then it dies. Then what? You wait around to recharge it. Like, that doesn't really work. So yeah, hot swappable batteries is a great feature. All right, the last tip I have for you is, before you put this headlamp in your pocket, do a quarter turn on the tail cap. The tail cap is like the thing you take on and off to open the battery compartment. So do a quarter turn counterclockwise on there, and then the light won't be able to turn on in your pocket. And then when you go to use it, just a quarter turn clockwise, and now it works again. The reason that's important is, I mean, A, you don't want your batteries just draining in your pocket. But this headlamp's actually powerful enough that if it turns on in your pocket, it can actually like melt your jacket. I've had this happen, so yeah. Quarter turn, put it in the pocket. In conclusion, it's not very often that a piece of gear is the best in its class for a decade. That's exactly what this has been. This is a reliable light. If you're using lights day in and day out and really relying on them, this is like a buy it for life investment. This is your light. Thanks for watching.